Hello everyone, and welcome. I'm Wisp, the creator of the Universes plugin, and today I'll be going over all the new features and changes in the Universes 2.0 plugin. This is actually, I think, the fourth or fifth time I'm trying to record this, because every other time I've started and then I've gotten like 10 minutes in and then discovered a bug that I had yet to fix. So I think, I'm hoping it's all good now, so that I can show you everything and publish this. Because it's been like 2.5 months of work on this update, and I want it to just be done. So, well, let's get into it. So there were a bunch of bugs that were fixed, first off, having to do with the world's spawn point. So, I had redesigned that element so that when you saved... So that the world was created, and when you teleported to the world, it would go into the path shown in the settings file, and it would grab the world and location data from there. From the initial version I had, where it was reading it in as a location object, reading it as a location object had some glitches, so I decided not to do that and change it up. But I forgot to change up the way the command saved the new location, so that's been fixed. And the the respawn world option now actually does things. So now when you die, it will actually take you to the respawn world. That's been set in the options there, so that'll actually be of importance, so you'll need to actually worry about that now. So when you die in a world, it tells you where you want it to spawn you. And then, there are just some other minor bug fixes here and there, mostly actually with some of the stuff that's been implemented with this update. And one important thing to note that I probably should have mentioned first, actually, is the language changing system. So, I've had some problems with the way that system worked. It doubled. It duplicated the entirety of the code, just with all of the dialogue printouts in a different language, being Spanish. And I realized that having it in two separate sections like that was going to be a pain in the butt, because I would have to code all the updates and changes, and then copy all of that, or recode all of that in the Spanish section, which would take like weeks longer to do. So I decided that I was going to exclude the language system from this current update while I work on a new system that I will implement in some point after 2.0, so 2.1, 2.2, and if not, one of those updates probably. I don't expect I'll have a Universes 3.0 until Minecraft 1.15 comes out, which I'm not too concerned about right now. But yeah, so right now the language, you cannot use Spanish. I am sorry. I'm working on a new system that will hopefully work better. I just need to figure out how I'm gonna do it all. The result might be that the settings file cannot be in Spanish anymore, because I mean, actually, I don't necessarily need to hard code the path strings. I could actually use some local some variables and change the string that they contain. Oh, excuse me. Wow, I haven't had any coffee today, so I'm not entirely awake. I don't usually drink coffee on the weekends because I don't need to. So, let's get into the first bigger changes that have happened. So these first ones are smaller ones that I just thought were nicer, would make this whole system look nice. I just realized I forgot to get something set up for about half an hour into the video. My laptop. Pull up a reference text file for something. Okay. Anyway, so in the previous version, if you typed when you wanted to change the override settings or the world settings, you would have to type in the whole commands. Like for the world settings, it was universe modify or world name setting to modify and whatever options it needed. So it was like 4 or 5 things that you have to put into the command. You can still do that if you want to, but I have changed it up. So now, for changing the overrides, you can just type in /UO, and it will actually bring up this little menu, and you can select these options to change them. So as you can see, I don't have per world inventory override enabled. It's a long ass name. This is part of the reason why I decided to make this like this, because that's a long thing to type. Nobody wants to type that. And as you can see, these ones are all enabled, and I can just click one and it will disable it or enable it. When it's enchanted, that means it's enabled. I tried to use items that made sense, like for an inventory. I went with a crafting table. I could have gone with a chest, but I like the crafting table. Yeah, crafting table. And then the universe modify actually has the same thing, so you can enable it or disable PvP from here. Just by clicking on here, you can change the world spawn. You can enable or disable monsters or animals. I'm not going to turn that off because then all of my cows outside my house here will die. Because they technically are not tameable beasts. They are just in a pen. Monsters I could disable would kill zombies and skeletons. Changing the game mode, so this is the default game mode of the world. As you can see, it's a different item based on the settings. So, and then there's a respawn rule and player limits. So these are going to work the same. If you click on one of these, it will ask you to please enter a new number for the player limit. So I can enter a number, and it will tell me the player limit has been updated. And if I give it something invalid, like I tell it hi, it says that is not a valid number. Please enter a valid number or say cancel to cancel. So it'll tell you you can say cancel and it will stop, or you can give it a valid number. So I'm going to give it -1, which means player limit is unlimited. That's how that's denoted in the system. So those are some fairly basic things that have been introduced. These, honestly, they took a while, but they were not the most challenging thing to actually work into this update. The most challenging thing, I would say, is the next thing that I'm going to talk about. So this was a feature that many people requested. There are many comments, if you look in the discussion section, that are about that, and there are even some comments on my profile, and there were a couple private messages to me on this Bigot website asking if I was going to implement a per world inventory system. And when I was first creating the plugin, I did not think that I was going to make one of those. I just figured people can just find another plugin to work with, but I kind of realized that there are not a whole lot of per world inventory plugins out there anymore, because a lot of the developers for those have left, so their projects are just unmaintained and are outdated and no longer really work because there are various new items that they don't compensate for. So I decided that since so many people wanted this feature, it would probably be useful, so I decided to, in fact, implement per world inventories system into this plugin. So, this actually, along with this, I made some fundamental changes to the layout in the folders here. So, previously you would have just seen player data and then a config file, then world list and world settings. I decided that I was going to put the lang into the lang.yml and use the config for actual config options. This may become obsolete in the next update, depending on how I do the language system. These I will get to. Groups actually these will appear when you use this new version of the plugin. Groups is useful for some of the features, but basically you go into the config file and you'll see these options here. So per world inventories, per world stats, per world inventory grouping, which means you can group inventories into like groupings that they are a part of. So if you want all your survival world, nether, and your survival worlds end world, as well as a world that contains like a wilderness or a shop or something, you can group all those together and they will share the same inventory, and then you can have your creative world in a separate group so that one has a different inventory, a different ender chest and everything, so none of that stuff will carry over, so people cannot cheat items into survival. And yes, the per world inventory system does account for ender chests. I was actually, when I was originally coding this whole thing, I didn't think about ender chests at all. Actually, it didn't occur to me. But while I was in the midst of coding that, I received a comment on my profile asking about per world inventories and per world ender chests, and I'm like, oh yeah, ender chests carry over. People could still cheat stuff in between worlds. Probably shouldn't have that. So that's been fixed. So yeah, let's do all these things. So to turn on per world inventories, you just want to set that to true, and now basically if I were to grab a stone block here, and I go to the other world that's loaded in here called test, as you can see, my inventory will not transfer over, and don't mind the gigantic wood strip. That was I've been trying to make a plugin that's like a world that I just for my own practice, and I might have screwed up the region detection, and it kind of made a strip of 3 by 3 by like 30 or 40 at least, if not 60 or 70. It's long anyway. As you can see, there's no longer a stone in my inventory, and if I go back to world, sorry for getting off topic, the stone will reappear in my inventory, and this means any enchanted items, any armor you have, they will once again appear in your items, even anything in your offhand. But right now, worlds are not grouped, so let's say I have my super awesome, stupidly powerful, do I have Tim installed? I do, okay. So yeah, let's say I'm gonna go to the nether with my stupidly powerful armor, and I'm gonna go kill some zombie pigmen in the nether. Well, grouping is not on, so my inventory doesn't carry over to the nether, because all of this stuff is also I wrote it all to take effect with the nether portals, and portal teleporting, just in case that was a thing, so that would be taken into account by the system. So you'd have to, if you want to be able to use another, you need to make sure you have grouping enabled. So that's not hard to do. So this is where the group file actually comes in handy. So you come into your config here, where you see per world inventory grouping, and you set that to true. Just save the file and go back, and you gotta go to the groups.yml. Any worlds that already exist should automatically be loaded into this, and by default they will all I changed these a little bit, but by default it'll set their groups, the name of the world. So this one would appear as world_nether, and this one would appear as _v_end. This is what they will look like. Each world will be in its own group. So you simply change them. So say I want world to be in its own group with world nether and world end. I do that, and I save that, and now I go back into the nether with my god sword, and I have my god sword still, so I can go and murder this zombie pigman and get a excessive amount of loot from it that the game doesn't want me to pick up, I guess. There we go. Yeah, that's a lot of gold. And zombie flesh, and a rather destroyed golden sword. But yeah, so that everything will carry over if you do that, except for stats. Well, right now, if you have per world stats disabled, your stats are carried globally. So, that's the wrong button. My hearts here, my food points, and my experience will carry over to every other world that I go to. If I go back into the config and turn on per world inventory stats, and I go say, I'll do this in test so I don't accidentally lose experience points here, because it was a lot of mine that got me that. Because I went to this world. I have it saving the stats every time you go into a world, no matter what, because I noticed some glitches where if it wasn't doing that when a player entered the world, it wouldn't reset their experience anyway. Just to ensure that there weren't any errors, I did that, so they'll have whatever experience they had in a previous world when they come to a new one, if they've already visited the world before it saved them, which would only happen if you had per world inventories on without stats. But if the world has not been visited yet by the player, it will set their XP to 0 and such. So, if I starve myself and damage myself 10 damage, and then I go to world, as you can see, I'm at full hearts and full food, and if I go back to the testing world, I'm once again at half, so I will feed and heal myself. The starve and damage commands were just me screwing around with adjusting player stats in a different plugin, so that's why those are there. I would never... There's no feasible use for starving yourself in-game. Unless you really just want to lose hearts for some reason. But anyway, that is that. And then there is this other setting here. Well, there's actually a couple other things. I'll get to the kits later. But the save inventory on death. So this was an interesting thing that I discovered on accident. So I have that off right now. So I have a sword in my inventory, and if I go into survival mode and I commit suicide... Oh crap, hold on. I just screwed something up. I forgot about my Hardcoreify plugin. I gotta... So it doesn't think that I'm dead, in case I go AFK. Back. Up. I forgot that I set that up. Let's see, so Hardcoreify. I am actually planning to eventually release this plugin when I'm sure it's ready for that. Okay, so let me reload the server. Okay, now, if I commit suicide, I gotta be in survival mode for that. I die. As you can see, the item drops. I press respawn, and I brought to this world. My inventory is now for this world's inventory. If I go back to the test, it's not going to save my inventory, which is what you want. You want their items to just be dropped if they die. So you would want this to be false if you don't want it to save players' inventories when they die. So if you have keep inventory as false, you'd want that on. So if I turn this on, let me go back to the settings. If I turn this on, then if I die, it will save that inventory. So I come in and I have a sword in my inventory, and there's one on the ground, which duplicates the items. And so originally this was a problem, so I put that in so that I could have that be false by default, so that players would not have their items duplicate. What you would turn that on for is if you had the keep inventory game rule set to true. So save inventory is on, and if I do game rule keep inventory set to true, so if you have this kind of thing enabled, when I commit suicide, I don't drop the item. So that means when I go back to the world, my inventory will still be in my hand. So that's where you would want to enable that. But my guess would be for most people, you're going to want that set to false. And you'll also notice as I'm changing these settings, I'm not reloading or restarting or even reloading the plugins config. So I decided that it would be so much easier if you could just change a setting, save the file, and it take effect. So to do that, I basically have it make a new instance of the file whenever it's used, so that it is updated, which is a useful thing to have, so you don't ever have to reload or restart anything to change any settings in any of the files in this plugin, even if you're modifying player files. Oh yeah, you will notice that when you die, it does cut your experience in half. I had to do that manually because I realized some things in the config were getting a bit screwed up. So it may not be exactly like default Minecraft if you have per world stats enabled, but it is very close, because when you die, your experience and levels are cut in half. So I believe that's what it seemed like when I was doing my earlier testing with that. So nobody should notice any difference really with that, which is what you want. So now another big kind of interesting feature with this plugin that was requested by, it wasn't as requested, but it was still somewhat requested, and it was actually an interesting feature, so I decided to work it in. Oh crap, where's my... Of course I would lose that file. Oh no. Okay, oh great, okay. Well, this is a slight problem. I deleted the file for the kits, and I don't think I have a template saved anywhere. Oh, shit. Oh, no. Okay, this is going to be a challenge to explain then if I can't find the kit file. Let me see if I can recover it from my downloads folder. Downloads. I don't know if I can do anything with it. Of course. It deleted the file when I closed it. Wait a minute. I opened it in Notepad++, so it should still be active there. Please tell me it is. Oh, thank God. Okay. So I can do... Oh, no, that's not the right kits file. Oh, crap. Okay. Okay, so I gotta, This is going to be a little bit of a challenge to explain, but I've implemented kits per world as well as a first join, per world first join kit. So when you first join a world, you will get a certain kit. So like when you first join the survival area, you get like some basic tools maybe. You have to set this stuff up, and I had a file that I was using as a template, and I've lost it unless it's in my downloads folder on my desktop here, which I doubt, but is always possible. So oh wow, I actually have it. This is great. Cool, okay, my life is saved. I gotta, just email this to myself real quick, so yeah, you guys just see an email that I don't use much anymore, for, actual communication, as much as I used to, because I have my own custom emails on my custom domain, which are a little more professional if I actually had, like, drew.sci at that one, but, you know, oh yeah, you can see that I have a PayPal. Oh, and you get to see my roommate's name. Ignore the thing that says Venmo, please. No, actually, I can just cut out the visuals here, or blur that. I'll just do that, so you can hear me talking about the stuff here, but you don't get to see it. And this is probably going to be time-lapse, maybe, even, because this isn't really important. So we're gonna send this to myself, and we're just gonna grab this and drop it in. Close that. Kits. It's a 3 kilobyte file. We're gonna send that email. Last chance for Bundle-a-Palooza for Wizard 101. Wow, that's boring. I mean, I already bought a bundle from that, so you know what? I spend too much money on games. Alrighty then, let's go over to the kit file now. So the kits.yml is where your kits are gonna be. Now, to make kits for the world, you first need to identify the world, or if you prefer per world inventory kits grouping. If you have the kits grouped, then you type in the group name. So I'm typing in test. You put a colon, enter, space in twice, and then write starting dash kit colon. Right now we have nothing, so I'll just leave that blank, and then the list of other kits. So say I want to just add a kit here that's going to be called fun stuff. Okay, now I'm just going to enter in a few spaces, or a few times rather, and I'm going to start creating this kit. So the kit is called fun stuff. So on the far left side of the page, this is going to be the same spacing as the one at the top. Type in the kit name and space in twice, and type in items. So this is where we're going to give it any items that it will have. So this is going to require, at least for now, because I haven't, at least for now, it's going to require that you write the item material type as it appears in the system. So like if you're trying to give a book and quill, that's going to be a writable book, and that's what the item's ID is. I do plan on eventually making it possible to use just the item names as well, because that is a lot. Will make things easier probably for the users, but for now this is what it's going to be. So most things though, it's the same as the name. So see, I'm going to give one of the items be a diamond sword. So you do the hyphen, it means it's a list. It's a string list. So that means this is going to be read into the code as a string list. So you have to put the hyphen there with the item, otherwise it'll just try to read it into the string, and it'll confuse the system, and things won't work right. And then we're going to give it, you can give it a description, or you can, like, any tags that for items you don't want to use, you can just leave. You don't have to add them in. So if I don't want to add a description to the kit, I don't have to. I will show you one in a little while that has a description in how it looks, but I won't put them in for now. So actually, I will make a description. So we just go description. This is a description for the item that appears in the UI. So we put a hyphen and then a dash. I'm just gonna go 3 spaces in, and I'm gonna go say and 6. This kit is awesome. And then say it's because of the way I'm doing this. I'll add a space. Do CND gives the following items. Times 1 times diamond sword. Okay. Now say I want some enchantments. So you will put that there, a colon, enter, space in twice. Actually, space in 4 times. Then write the word diamond sword, because these are going to be the enchantments for the diamond sword. We'll add sharpness 10,000. Fire aspect 10,000, and well, I'll leave it at that. Just those two. I don't need more than that. Okay, so those will be the enchantments. And next, the item amount. Actually, for the sake of organization, I'm gonna put that there. So now, let's see, it's gonna be item dash amount. Go in 4 and go for diamond. We have just a diamond sword, and it is we'll give 1 diamond sword. This can be as many of the item as you want. So I don't actually know what happens if you give a stack larger than 64. I'm not sure if it actually splits it into 2 stacks or not. So that'd be something to experiment with. Actually, just because I'm gonna see what that does. So I'll just go. It also gives grass block. I'm just and 128 times grass block. Very cool stuff. So I'm not gonna give enchantments to the grass block, even though I could. Let's go grass underscore block. 128 of it. Alright. Now the item descriptions, because you can add descriptions to the item, so you space in twice, and then type item dash description. Space in 4 times. We'll add a description to the diamond sword. Space in 4 times again. Add a dash. Let's see. And this was Balfour's mighty destroyer, mighty sword. It shall destroy. The item name. This is another thing you can add, so we space in twice. There's item dash name. Enter. Space in 4 times. And we're just gonna name the diamond sword. And we will call it and a TNT Destroyer. Now, actually, as you see there, I used an apostrophe for possession, because it's Balfour's Mighty Sword. If you do something like that, you do need to put that string in double quotes, or the YAML system will get confused. So we've given it an item name, and now whether or not we want it to be unbreakable, so spacing twice, do item dash unbreakable, colon, spacing 4 times, and say diamond underscore sword. I'm gonna say true for that, actually. And I don't need to type the grass block because that's gonna be false. And now we're gonna do the stuff for the UI. So I'll put this above the description. The UI item. UI is capital and item. Colon, and have the UI item be a diamond sword. And then enchant dash UI item. So this is whether or not the item will glow in the kit GUI. So if I want it to glow, then I would say true. So I want it to glow. Space in twice again, and UI name. So this is what the name is going to appear in the in the UI. So let's go and A, and L, fun stuff, which is going to be light green and bold. And then beneath the description, there's a lot of stuff you can add to this. Anything you don't want to add, you don't have to type in here. So if you don't want to add description for the kit, you don't have to. If you don't want to add in a name for the item, actually, I think you do have to. That one item, the UI stuff, like the UI item, whether or not it's enchanted, the UI item, whether or not it's enchanted, and the name are required. But you don't need to have enchantments. You don't need to have item names. You don't need to give descriptions for the items. But anyway, so this one you don't have to add either. But UI item dash selected dash message. So what this is a message that will print when the player selects the kit. If you don't add this in or you leave this blank, it won't be a message. If you want to send a message, you can do that. So I will add C and A. Have fun. So it'll just say that to me when I select the kit. Now there's one more thing. So this is the usage. How it gets used. So you can have a certain amount of times the kit can be used. You can have it only be usable every certain amount of time, or you can have it only be usable. You can have it be usable forever. So it's a usage. Then spacing 4 times, and we go type. And if we say unlimited, I can just leave it at that. So I'll save the kit now, and I may have to get myself here in game. So as you can see, I made that mistake here, so you're going to see what error happens if you. So that needs to be in quotation marks. Save that. Now if I type in UK, as you can see, this appears here. Fun stuff. This kit is awesome. It gives the following items: 1 times diamond sword, 28 grass block. Okay, so it does split the grass blocks into stacks, and as you can see, here's my sword. So we have. Ooh, whoops. The second line is the wrong color. How did I do that? Ooh, Andy. Okay, I forgot that. And actually, I'll put that and just a space there. /UK, and I grab this sword again. And you can see, looks exactly as I set it up to be, except for there's 2 S's in Delphor's. For some reason. Delphor's is... Delphor's Mighty Destroyer. And I can use this as many times as I want. The other ones, they're fixed, and it gives me the diamond blocks there. Very high attack damage, 5,007.5. It is also unbreakable. Now I've got oh, you know what? Actually, I didn't save it to this computer, but it won't be hard to change those. So I'm gonna just import a couple other kits that I've already made. I use some examples of the other kinds of usage types. So go ahead and paste this in. Now I just need to, so this is going to be usage type uses and count 1. And then this one will go usage type timer, and then count will be, start off, give it 1 minute. I'm going over the different time variables you can use in a second, but I just need to check. So I don't know if this is going to be my diamond stuffs. Okay, so that is let me just get rid of those. That is for the next part. I'm technically recording this after. So if I go to kits, you can see we have these 2 kits, so I can use this. It'll give me all of these items, which are these wonderful pieces of equipment. And the thing is, the mightiest warriors use this weapon to fell the mightiest dragons. And just some basic diamond tools. Now if I try to use this one again, it will tell me, sorry, you've already used that kit as many times as you are allowed. So I can't use it again. But then there's this kit. Wisp kit, so I select this, and I've got a sword and a bow. Actually, a very good bow. Which that horse will die in 1 shot. Oh. Okay. This bow will not fire. I don't know what just happened. I think that arrow broke the server. Whoops. Yeah, I can't run commands anymore. All I can do is chat. What is going on in the console? I can't reload either. Oops. So that arrow just crashed the server. Too much power, I guess. Yep, server closed. Yep, server crashed. I'll have to clip this a little bit. does this take so long? Server will start in 20 seconds. Okay. I think it's been longer than that. And the server is not starting, so great. I don't know what I did, but the server is totally broken now. Let me just stop it and try to start it again. It'll start in 20 seconds. Okay, so 24 minutes. I was hoping this would be about a half of this length. Definitely gonna clip this part a little bit. Okay, it's been 30 seconds now. Okay, now that's just weird. It started up, and it's just not showing anything in the console. Okay, so now I can use it again because the timer expired in that amount of time, but if I try again now, I just have to wait before I can use it. That's so weird, the console is showing nothing. It's glitching, I guess. Oh, hold on. I already have this open here. Now, I can change the times here, so you can set it for minutes, hours, days, and months. So, a lowercase m is a minute, lowercase h is an hour, lowercase d is a day, and an uppercase m is a month. So if I set it to that, now, when I go back in and I try to use this kit again, I still gotta wait 30 days before I can use the kit again. Or if I set it to just one day, it'll tell me I got 23 hours. 23 hours and 59 minutes. Or if I go to hours, "58 minutes and 40 seconds. And then back to a minute. Yeah. That's me use the kit again. I guess maybe because a minute expired. Yeah, 58. Yeah, it was a minute and 20 seconds in, so. Yep. And now there's also the per world kits. As you can see, in test with this modifications to certain kit is this Diamond Stuffs kit, which is this kit here, actually. So I can let me use it again. Let me just leave this world for a second, and go back. Okay, inventories. This set visited to false. Okay, so now if I go to this world, go to test, I'm gonna get that that kit. Yeah. So now I won't give it to me if I do this again. So if I go back to world and then go back to test, I just have the one that I already had in my inventory. It doesn't give me anything else. And as you can see, it's still listed here, but let's say, since that's the starting kit, I don't want it to be listed there. Let me just go back to world so I can demonstrate this. Hold on, I gotta do that. Okay, so set that to false, go up. Now, yeah. Okay, so that kit, Diamond Stuffs is also our starting kit, but let's say I don't want that to be actually listed as a kit. I can take that off the list and still use it as a starting kit. So, I go to test. Now, it'll give me that kit. If I go into the kits, I only see Wisp's kit, which I can use only once every minute. Yeah. But, so that is it for the kits. Of course, I can't fire arrows. I guess, overshot. I'm gonna kill that horse. Oh, great. Okay, perhaps punch is too high. Anyway, move on to, yeah. Move all those now. Yeah. Oh. There's one last thing that I want to talk about. So, along with my development of the Universes plugin, I created an add-on plugin called Universe Nethers. Now, it will not work unless you have Universes installed. But I will go ahead and install this plugin here so I can show you how it changes things. So when you saw me create that flat world, it just created the flat world. That was it. Nope. Sorry, I gotta navigate to the. Whoa. 1.14 plugins. Universe Nethers. Here we go. So I'm gonna submit that, and when you install this, you do have to reload the server. So I'm gonna do that. Put myself in creative mode. So when you go to type in it tells you the name of the world. So I've reloaded. If I open up the config, you'll notice that it adds in these options here. So now there's another per overworld. So right now, if I set this to false, this is what it would be like before you install this plugin. If I try to go through this portal, it will take me to another. But if I try to go to the modification settings, we say that it is world_nethers nether. And if I leave this, I don't even know what world I'm in now. Oh, it does take me back to test because that's where the portal was from, but not anywhere near the actual world spawn. I don't know what is going on with the lighting here, but so it does that, which you don't necessarily want necessarily. So like if I were to create, it's like if you have separate sections, like if you say your survival section is named, you have the world actually called survival, and then survival_nether and survival_nether_the_end. If you go into another portal in survival, it's going to take you to world_nether, which if you don't have those in the same group could cause problems. So what this does is resolves that basically. So you turn this on, and for every overworld that exists, it will try to find another world that shares a similar name. So as you can see, there is no nether for this world right now, because so in order for it to have a nether, if I listed, it has to have the underscore nether at the end of the world name. And then with that enabled, when you create a new world, so if I create test 2 again as normal, flat, peaceful, it starts creation of world 2. Then when it finishes that, it says our creation of corresponding nether. So that'll take a moment. Now the nether is created, so if I go to ut test 2 here, just list the worlds. As you can see, there's a test 2 and a test 2 underscore nether, as well as a world underscore nether, and they are different worlds. So if I grab some obsidian and a flint and steel, and I build myself another portal real quick, light it up, and I jump in. As you can see, it takes me to test 2 underscore nether, and when I leave, it'll take me back to test 2. No, I'm not I need to actually test something real quick, because while I'm thinking about this, there might have been a glitch here that I forgot to fix. So I'm gonna restart the server real quick, because I think it might be possible that I screwed this up. I mean, you could actually also use this to teleport between overworlds, as I figured out when it glitched. I just want to make sure that this works correctly. Like if world settings, world nether, it's gonna be on the bottom, test 2, type okay, that's okay, so that is, type is supposed to say nether, so I did actually screw something up in this plugin, in that config. So I'm about 99% sure that when I get back on the server, when I try to use another portal, it's going to take me to test 2 underscore nether, but test 2 nether is going to be a flat world. That will not surprise me. Okay, so back in, I am in test 2. I take this, yeah, I was right indeed. Whoa, okay, that was weird. But yeah, now if I go to modify, yeah, this is test 2 nether now. So you can, if you so desire, if I actually test, is it right? Huh. So that's why that happened. So if you so desire, you could generate another world with underscore nether at the end of it as an overworld, and you could have another portal teleport you between overworld worlds if you wanted to do that. So if you wanted to have a resource world that was like that, you could do that. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense though, but that is an issue that I need to fix. I didn't realize that I was gonna have such an effect like that. I need to figure out why that's doing that. It should be in my universe create command, I believe. If has nethers, okay. Oh yeah, that. This should just this should just say nether. That's what it should have done. So this is gonna be fixed now. As soon as this builds, I can just make sure of that. This is an extraordinarily long video for an update information. I need to definitely do some editing to shrink this a bit. Come on, hurry up. Okay, here we go. So didn't realize there was actually a glitch in the universes plugin. So that is fixed now. So I'm I just want to make sure that it is in fact. So UD test 2. Oh great, okay, I gotta reload then. Test 2. Confirm UD test 2 underscore nether. Confirm. Okay, so now UC test 2 normal, flat, peaceful. So it's creating the nether. Okay, so that's in that I actually can teleport to here. So nether is created. Let me just grab some obsidian and a flint and steel. Portal, and I just jump through. I believe they should by default be in the same inventory group. Yes, okay. And okay. Let me go back to test 2 and restart the server. And it should load up correctly as another. That discovery, though, although that was due to a bug, actually, gives me some ideas for how I can handle, like a portal plugin. I sort of have one, but not entirely. Because, like, you can create portal spots, and they will save to a database, but there's no like frame. It's just like that one spot, that one block. I need to come up with a good frame detection system. Probably wouldn't want to be more than one block. Anyway, this is back up, so go ahead and hop back in. So just make sure that this is fixed. Go to the nether. Hopefully it is another world. That's good. It generated correctly. It didn't create itself as a flat world. So, I guess that just about wraps up the new features in the Universes 2.0 update. I do hope you enjoy this big update. It's taken me a lot of work. This portal is taller than it was supposed to be. And, yeah, I hope that you find the new features useful, whichever one you decide to use. I guess that's it. Enjoy using it.